So I'm in the middle of engine rebuild number 3 for this week. This is a much more extensive rebuild. I've just finally put back the crankshaft and the camshaft and all that back into the engine. Apparently this tapered shaft, crankshaft from the original GX200 clone engine is just slightly wider than the crankshaft that was in the Predator 212cc engine. So we put almost 400 hours or so, maybe even a little over 400 hours of runtime on a generator that was running with a crankshaft that was actually too large for the bearing. I'm kind of surprised my rebuild lasted that long considering that. But eventually we had catastrophic failure of the cap for the billet rod, and the flywheel actually torqued itself so hard on the inside that it bent. I've never seen cast iron do that before. It's interesting. This generator, it has this crazy end housing that's alternator and engine all built together, and when we were taking it all apart, the original motor brushes from the alternator busted out, and they were in this crazy housing here, and the leads were actually brazed on. So what I did is I made these new leads, which are fiberglass coated high voltage wires from a ballast or something. I'm not sure what I took them off of. And then last night, because we have no power right now, I hooked a battery up to a couple of clamp leads that have a socket plug on it, and then I hooked an inverter up to that, and then I plugged a soldering iron into that, and in the dark with a headlamp I soldered these leads together by overlapping the wires. I took some motor brushes I took off of something else, and I took the wire lead from that and put it right down through the larger wire from the high voltage wires here. And the motor brushes weren't quite the right size, so I'd use sandpaper, a few different grits of sandpaper to reshape them to just the right size to fit in there. And so they're spring loaded in there, and they'll ride against the contacts on the armature there, or sorry, the stator. And then the field windings, I've got them sitting here. I don't think there's anything wrong with any of that. It just these brushes weren't in good shape before, and I felt like I needed to replace the one, and then when we were pulling things out, the lead broke, and like I said, it was brazed on there. But we used JB weld then. I just coated over everything I did, so the base of the brush is actually attached by JB weld to the wire lead. So I've got to figure out how to put some tension on those still, but I think otherwise the alternator will be ready to go. Our valve covers are in good shape, so I think I'm going to take the old flywheel, try to piece it together and see what I can do here. I'm hoping in a couple of hours I will have a working generator here again. Let's hope. Oh, there's Rena. Hi, Rena. Hi, honey. You know, see, here's a Briggs & Stratton engine. I pulled the starter coil off of that because I'm trying to get our other backup generator to go because it's not working right now. The ignition coil on that went out, of course. So I went to pull the ignition coil off of this unit here, and it's not quite the same on the bottom. If you look here, here's the original, and Then here's this other one, and it's practically the same thing, except on the bottom the metal is a little different. It rides a little different. Position of those screw holes is slightly different. So I just have to fix a few things here to get it to fit on there properly, but hopefully one or the other of these generators will be working today, because otherwise our food is gonna be mostly gone, which really stinks because we just finally got some food again. But I think one or the other of these is going to be working here soon. Let's cross our fingers on that one.